Hi, I'm Ron Benning, and welcome to your Sacramento Smart Investor Fourplex Market Update for August of 2026. This month, we're reviewing what happened in the Sacramento Fourplex Market during July. While many investors continue waiting on the sidelines for lower interest rates, I'm seeing something I haven't seen in quite a while. Some of the lowest gross rent multipliers and some of the best buyer negotiating opportunities we've had in years. If you're a real estate investor, property owner, or simply enjoy staying informed on the Sacramento multifamily market, please subscribe and click the notification bell. Let's get into the numbers. Overall, Sacramento remained a neutral market with approximately 6 months of inventory. Inventory increased from last month, while closed sales and pending sales both declined, giving buyers considerably more negotiation leverage. On paper, that sounds fairly balanced, but that's not what I'm seeing in the field. Today's buyers are negotiating aggressively, and in many cases, they're winning. Sales activity. Six Sacramento fourplexes closed escrow during July. That's one of the largest amount in the last couple of years. That's still 3 times as many sales as we saw 1 year ago, but about 1/3 fewer than the previous months. At the same time, pending sales also declined by 25%. That tells me buyers remain selective and patient. They're purchasing the right opportunities, not simply buying because inventory exists. On the inventory level, inventory increased approximately 20% from last month, while pending sales declined. That combination gives buyers additional choices and additional leverage during negotiations. And we're right on the verge of being in a buyer's market again. Although 6 months of inventory technically places us in a neutral market, negotiation conditions today clearly favor buyers. Buyer negotiating power. One statistic jumped off the page this month. The average property sold for only 90% of the original asking price. Think about that. That's an average discount of roughly 10% from the seller's original asking price. For $1 million fourplex, that's roughly $100,000 in negotiating room. That's substantial. It tells me sellers are becoming more realistic and buyers are exercising patience and discipline. Now let's talk about prices. A published report shows average sold prices increasing because of the mix of properties that closed during the month. However, working in this market every day, I'm definitely seeing something different at the lower end of the Sacramento Fourplex market. I'm seeing more quality properties selling in the high 700s and low 800s. That simply wasn't common a year or two ago. If you're looking for value, this is where I'd be focusing my attention. GRM and cash flow. Now let's talk about what I think is the biggest story this month. Despite interest rates remaining relatively high, I'm seeing some of the lowest closed GRM gross rent multipliers that I've seen in years. Several Sacramento properties recently sold around 10 to 11 on the GRM scale, with examples as low as 10.06, 10.09, 10.43, 10.53, and 10.77. That's creating something we haven't seen for a long time, improving cash flow opportunities despite higher interest rates. Many investors are waiting for interest rates to fall before buying. I understand that thinking, but here's the question. What happens when rates finally do come down? History tells us that lower financing costs generally increase buyer demand. More buyers usually means more competition, and more competition often pushes prices higher. So while waiting may produce a lower interest rate, it could also mean paying significantly more for the property. The investors buying today at today's discounted prices at historically attractive GRMs may ultimately be in an excellent position to refinance later if rates do decline. This month's break-even GRM is 11.09 on the Sacramento Fourplex. This is in large part because prices have come down a little bit, and that is also factoring in some very favorable financing that I've been able to come up with. This last week, one of my clients was quoted an interest rate at 6.875 with 1 point. If you want to find out more, reach out to me and we can see if this financing source is right for you. My investor insight. If I were buying today, I would be asking, when will our interest rates come down? I'd be asking, can I buy this property below replacement value at an attractive GRM with upside in rents? Because if the answer is yes, lower interest rates later become the icing on the cake. And the analysis we can do for you will help you find those hidden gems. 30 to 45-day forecast. Looking ahead, I don't expect a dramatic market shift over the next month. Inventory remains healthy. It'll probably go back into the official buyer's market. Negotiating leverage will continue to favor buyers, and sellers will have to become more realistic. And unless interest rates move substantially lower, I believe buyers will continue demanding value. That's good news for disciplined investors. Strategy for buyers. If you're buying, this may be one of the best buying environments we've seen in several years. Negotiate aggressively, focus on income, ignore emotion. If you can purchase today, cash flow opportunities, and refinance later, that would be a good idea. You may look back at this period as one of the best windows of the decade. One of the things that I've noticed in my many years in the real estate business is that the real opportunities happen when most of the market is afraid to take action. Strategy for sellers. If you're selling, today's buyers are extremely sophisticated. They understand cash flow, they understand GRMs, and they know they have choices. Properties priced according to today's income approach continue attracting offers. But properties priced based on yesterday's market are sitting longer and will require larger price reductions. Price for today's market, not last year's. In closing, if you'd like to receive my weekly Sacramento Fourplex GRM report showing some of the best cash flowing opportunities currently on the market, you'll find a link in the description below. And there are quite a few properties selling below that break even GRM. If you'd like a free MLS search of every Sacramento fourplex currently for sale, I'd be happy to set one up for you. And if you're thinking about selling, I'd be happy to provide a complimentary evaluation, rent analysis, and marketing strategy designed specifically for your multifamily investment properties. I'm Ron Benning, real estate investment expert. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next month with another Sacramento Smart Investor Fourplex Market Update.